simulation theory. I don't
What's the overall rundown? Ooh, get that ASMR.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.
We should do an entire episode in ASMR, like doing a podcast like ASMR episode.
I'm gonna open the bag. Oh yeah. Look at the sound of me eating one. Oh, God, tell me if you guys like that. Leave it in the links below. We'll start a new channel.
We might do an entire podcast. But...
We're just gonna whisper and make my drink. This is a new segment called ASMR. Maybe that's not long enough. I think you get the gesture. Alright, that's enough for me. Alright, let's get it.
I know you can't see it, but here's Wyra.
Oh yeah. Alright, Savannah, do you think, I know Savannah, we've had a big discussion about this. Is life a game?
Oh my god, there's a cat.
There's a cow?
There's a cat.
How much you have?
A cat.
You're in a net.
Huh?
You're in a net house, right? You can't get you.
It's not in me. Yeah, I was super worried about the cat killing me, Brandon. No, it's like, yeah, but it's like, it's a distance away. I don't know where it went.
Where's my cat? Can you hear me crunching?
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot. It's mainly the back.
No, I'm gonna move. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Actually,
gonna suck for you guys.
Can't hear you eating. It's just I can hear you.
The bag.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna move the bag around. Alright. Okay, I'll start because I think I've dug about this so deeply. It's really sad. It's not impossible. The chances of life being a simulation is 1 in a million or billion. I'm wrong, sorry, because and that's what I think of it. It's 1 in a billion. So that's of it being real. It's 1 in a billion chance of this being real life, and that's really weird to think about in perspective because we're getting so close to this virtual age where we don't even need to be connected here. Like we're face to face, but you're in a screen. So this, even though I don't have anything on my face that I can't feel, that's just because our technology's back. So once we do get this technology, there won't be any way to tell the difference between life as we know it and the new world. And this may be a completely different world from the world before us because they may, soda may be just battery juice. I don't know. It's weird. Like, these programmers, are you an NPC? They're just getting real deep. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna close the computer because.
Well, if you think about it, like you see cosplay. What if that was real life? Like, you were born like in this new world technology where everything's about the same, like the VR,
right?
Technology. Like, what if you went into a world like you think of Dungeons and Dragons, which I enjoy playing that, and think, what if you could turn Dungeons and Dragons into a virtual reality? I'm here, and you can get to the point where if they program it just right, I think that's reality, and this is a video.
Yeah. It's one of those chicken and egg theory. Are you an NPC or a randomly generated person, and I'm just a player in this game? Is everything else just the game? But are we in the same game? We're all the same minds, but like there are no NPCs. But if I was an NPC, then and if you're a real player, then you would be thinking, I'm telling you this to reassure you that I'm not an NPC. You know what I mean? But I know I'm a real person. At least I think. You know what I mean? I know I'm real, and I don't know if you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's. But if you're real, then you know. I'm only saying that because now you want to be a part of this new game. So it's a catch-22. The more you know, the more you don't.
Hmm.
So around time, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so like, I would say like I've thought about this a good bit. Maybe not as much as Brandon, but like, so you know how like some people believe in like true loves and stuff like that. Like, there's or like soulmates. Like, there's only
Yeah.
one person out of the 7.6 billion people that belongs that like you
Yeah,
should be together. I
that's
feel
going
like
down.
that. Yeah, I feel like that goes along with the theory of just kind of like you have to have one person that's like that
And
matches you specifically.
it kind of also makes you think. When you think of when two people get married, they're pushing their differences aside and they're trying to cooperate. Is that being a soulmate, or is that just a day-to-day life when you get into a romantic relationship with someone?
My thing is like every time you think like you have an option, like so I have the option, should I start eating now at 11:30 my lunch, or should I wait till like 12 or 1 o'clock, and then you have that voice in your head that's like, maybe I'll just wait till 1, like I'm not hungry yet, so I'll wait,
Right.
like that kind of thing. And
Consciousness.
that to me, like I've thought about it in both ways. I've thought about it as I'm the player, and I've also thought about it as somebody's playing as me. So like
Right.
they get to create their own character and stuff like that, and I just happen to be their character. So that little voice in my head is that person who's playing as me, like making the choices, and then I
Wait.
subconsciously, yeah, like
So
and I
do you think there's two consciences, the player and you, right? Or are you saying it's one?
depends. It depends. It really depends.
'Cause AI, I love AI. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it's so beautiful. You know why? Because it works. I don't know how to
So,
program it because I do C++,
so I know
but
someone who's about like 20. I think he's about 28, and
okay.
he talked about making an AI on chess, on how to play chess, and
Oh
he
yeah, they're
talked
great.
about how when he made the game, that the game went so slow because the AI was so smart. When it was getting ready to make its next move, it would take like 10, 20 minutes to make the next move because it's thinking of all the possibilities of what could happen next.
Actually, what was going on was so wait, did he program it himself?
Huh?
Did he program it himself?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty garbage. He didn't let it learn. You have to let the AI learn because then it's this supercomputer. It can make decisions, complicated decisions that we can never make in seconds. But if you don't let it learn, it does take 30 minutes for each decision because it's got to run through all those, which one's optimum. And we've been
I don't know. To me, just thinking about that, how that is itself, like these computers, they're so smart in that way. Like when you think of when two humans are playing chess against each other, there's human error in it.
right.
The computers don't make that error.
Okay, like I feel like there's so like the simulation theory is like such a widespread like kind of like idea because there's so many variations of the idea. Some people think that like I think that like I'm a player in this game. That's how I think of it. But like I said earlier, maybe somebody else is playing as me because of that little voice in my head every time I make a decision, every time I think about something, And
Huh.
I feel like that could just be like a program thing. Like I ask myself, like whenever I had school, it was I had to eat lunch at this time, And I'm wondering if, some say that's the schedule, but maybe that's just I have school, now I have to do that. And I feel like to make something like a quarantine happen, like make something like COVID-19 go like viral like this, is exactly what would happen in a game. There are games that like you get to create your own disease and like your own virus and literally
Amazing.
spread throughout areas. There are games like that.
Yeah, there's I know there's a phone game that's like that.
There's one on
Play
PC.
games, baby.
There's one on PC that's like that, and it just blows my mind. Like, what if, like, I think I'm gonna go. Okay, as I continue to go along in this theory, I think I'm just gonna go with the fact that I'm a player in this game. But then we run into the issue of, well, I think Brandon's a player in this game, and I think Tiffany's a player in this game too. So who are the AI? Who are the computers playing with us?
Do you think we even have an AI? Do you think there are AIs, or there's just so many of us that there's no point of having AIs?
I feel like
That would make
You know-
sense. Like,
you know how in servers, you know how like in Minecraft servers, you have like you can have a ton of people in a Minecraft server, or they can go to individual Minecraft servers.
Right.
So if we use this theory that there are no AI because there's enough people playing the game,
then
that
who's the tree or who's
Yeah.
the
That's a good point.
these
Yeah.
pets that we have? Are they AI?
yeah,
If you
Like
think
who-
about
and then like the
I do
baby-
think my dog's broken.
I agree.
So
He
I wanna be
doesn't
that crazy out of
understand
video.
his bathroom is my
it, but
thing.
it kind
But
of makes sense. Like if you look at it, I just got a puppy. This puppy's growing, and I'm gonna just take Sims 4, the computer game that I play. They have dogs, and you kind of don't play the dogs. You can't control the dogs. You can train them, but you can't like tell them when to
Yeah.
eat or when to go to the bathroom and stuff.
right,
Like you kind of train them to do.
you're only
you-
conscious in your own mind.
Yeah. But you can like
Oh my god.
but you can stop it like you
Oh,
can a
shoot.
dog now to train it, stop it from what it's ever doing whatever it wants to do.
I think that like you know those games on like Roblox. I'm gonna throw it back here. Okay, so like you know like those games on Roblox that are just like they're like you get to play. You can play as a dog or a cat or a baby or a teenager or a kid or a thing like that. I
Yeah,
feel
role
like,
play games. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
RPG.
I feel like this is like exactly like that. I feel like if you want to be a kid, then you can be a kid. But I feel like everybody has to
We're the
start
kid.
off. But I think everybody has to start off like as a baby or as a pet or like you know like something
They have
along
to
that.
start off at as the. It's kind that also makes me think like when we have our birthday or when we like move up grades in schools, are we leveling up?
I feel like every
And
major
you have
change
the
that you
choice
have is
to
level up.
level up to college and like do something else, or you have the choice to level up to college and go up to a higher career.
I think okay. Here's what I think it is. I don't think it's leveling up necessarily. I think it's getting like not getting older, but just like having
Achievement?
more, like having like whether you're more mature. Like if I were to brag to my friend like about this game, I'd be like, hey, guess what? I got my character to mature like
Oh no.
mature at 13 realistic.
There
But
you go.
oh, you froze. I can hear you. But okay, now we're good. Yeah, that's my thing. Like I just think that's what it is. Like I feel
Or
like
maturity.
it's maturity, and also like as you go along, like there are stages that you have to hit. Like when you get your first apartment or your flat or your
Or like
Like,
16th birthday.
house. Yeah, like birthdays,
Private-
going up grade levels, taking tests, and like not taking any tests, but like standardized testing. And here's the thing: did you know that if the more standardized tests you take, the more like emails you'll get about colleges and stuff like that? Like, because schools are looking at you because they sell that information. So my thing is, in the game, I feel like you can be like grow up to be a professor of a college or like something like that, you know? And like I don't know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
My viewpoint. Okay, so my viewpoint is weird. I don't think this is a game, even though I'm very enthusiastic about it. Or what's that word? Yeah, enthusiastic. What is that word?
Enthusiastic?
Yeah, I guess that's the word. I don't know. I just got a lot of opinion on it, but you know, with my religion, being a Christian, I do believe this got to be it. You know what I mean? So let's hope it is. But when I think about virtual reality and that being so like GTA 5. Have you ever played GTA 5?
I
yeah.
have.
You can do so many things. You can drink alcohol
Uh-huh.
and get drunk. What? What?
Hey, this sounds like a
There's
perfect
such little details
Yeah,
that
it like details it to like what it's like to be drunk in the GTA game.
there's so many details.
means
But
that the creator must have been drunk at one point in time.
um, and one thing I think is what people may be missing is our world may be different from the one before us because
But how do we know the one was before us?
well that's the hypothetical thought. If there was one before us, that this would be a different one. That something that didn't work in theirs is working in here. Like
Mm-hmm.
flying cars. Flying cars don't make sense in this world, but they work in video games. Why? Because you can change the rules. So they're changing rules that behind us.
Well, this can
You
go
know what I
with
mean?
another theory that I forgot the name of it, but it's like pretty much every kind of world, every possible choice that you can ever make is a different world, and we're just living in one of the millions of millions of millions.
I love this theory. I've seen it so many times.
Crazy.
So if you watch DC Legends, if you watch DC Legends of Tomorrow, there's an episode in there where this guy dies in this world, but since it's the multiverse, there's another one, and in this one he looks exactly like his old self. But guess what? He's gay. And I think this is like one of the perfect examples of like how like your decisions can be changed like that. And I think like that blows my mind, like completely off. Like I don't know how computers like got such a like tight handle on how.
I'm gonna throw a rabbit trail, and my cat just jumped on my lap. So let's just take a second and enjoy how beautiful she is.
It's like, hi, welcome to the podcast.
Our first
All right, I'll let it go now. All right, back to what you're saying, Savannah. Sorry, I threw a rabbit trail on that.
It's fine. Yeah, just like having like so many different like versions of yourself. I guess like I don't really know how it would correlate with the simulation theory, but I feel like it just proves the point that like there are so like even every little decision can change so many things. So how is it that me eating lunch at 1 or 1:30, how does that affect my future? Like, how does it change what's going to happen? Yeah, but it's like, am I a AI, and my AI spends 30 minutes to make those decisions to see how it will affect the future? Like how, like
Yeah.
And to think about it, time, like when you look in different things, time is only relative to us. Like humans made time.
We created time. We created time so that we could have so that we could have more control. Ideally,
well. Now we're getting into astrology, astronomy, which is my sport. So I just called astronomy my sport.
So as a Christian, there's a verse in the Bible. I can't pull out exactly which verse and where, and please don't hold this against me ever. But there's a verse that talks about like 10 days is like 10,000 years, and 10,000 years is like 10 days. I'm paraphrasing it to where how it came to me. So
paraphrase
don't
and summarize.
But I summarized it. If you were to go and look for it, it might be different, and it depends on what you go look at.
Which Bible you're on. All right.
So don't hold this against me as a human being.
Yeah, if you guys snowflake out and saw Tiffany, I'll come find you. Because you don't deserve the internet. Now I'm on the hit list. Anyway. Time, is it a human contract? No.
Yes, it is a human concept.
Concept? So what do you mean by that?
So by that, Brandon, I mean that we created time. Like, look back in the Bible. God wasn't like, oh, I'm going to see you at 12:30 see you there, bud. Like he
Well,
wasn't like that.
Still,
It
there
was
was
just
still
like
day and night. You still have to think about it.
no,
like-
there was still day and night. There was night and then
They didn't have time then. They didn't have like.
The only
Yeah, I see at 12.
create.
When we get my sundial.
all right,
I
let's
wasn't like I'm gonna create light at 11 o'clock today and then go to
Hold on. Everyone's lagging.
okay.
Oh.
Say it again.
So let's go one at a time. And who wants to go first?
I want to go
Brandon.
first. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Brandon. See, 2 votes against 1. Thank you, Tiffany. I'm joking. Okay, so all right, so God. Okay, if you believe in God and Christianity and all that stuff,
No. How about
just
one
hypothetically.
superpower,
Okay,
one
So-
maker
let's say
that
there's,
open the door.
Yeah, one creator.
there's one person out there who created the entire little shebang, right? Time did not always exist. You can look back at the Romans who created time itself. They did not always have it, and they wanted things to be more organized so that humans could have more control. As we want control, we are controlling beings. That was the entire purpose of time being created. This one overlying ruler wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna create the universe at 12 p.m. tonight. Like or I should say, like,
Okay. So can I say something
Tiffany, you go.
without being interrupted? All right. So I think this world has always had some sort of concept of time. We've just complicated it more. Like, okay, there was always day, night. All right, when the sun reaches to this level, let's do this. Or when the sun reaches to completely straight above us, let's have lunch because it's halfway through the day. Well, I think as humans, we have complicated it a little bit more on time and added numbers to it and did like we have 60 seconds equals 1 minute, 60 minutes equals 1 hour, 24 hours equals 1 day, 7 days equal 1 week, 4 weeks equals 1 month, 12 months equals 1 year, 10 years equals a decade.
Yeah.
Then you have 25 years equals a quarter of a century. 100 years is a century. And you kind of move up to like even 1,000 years is a millennium. We've kind of complicated everything up to where it's easier to control on, okay, at 5:30 p.m., we're having dinner.
Right.
And
But
to
only
make it easier to control how we're going to spend our day.
the only problem is different calendars in different like areas and stuff like that other people have developed don't align. Like
Mhm.
November wasn't always in the calendar. In the Roman
Julius
calendar.
Caesar.
Julius Caesar. He's technically this boy. Like, what if he was born in November, but they didn't have November? So when was he born? You know, they had different months, and they had more than 12, but they took some.
Oh, okay. I think you're saying that I'm trying to. Okay, so in astronomy, does everyone know space time?
Yeah.
Tiffany,
Like,
space time. Okay. Space time is the fabric of space, where everything
Mhm.
lays, every atom, everything, and on this fabric, time is another dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, right? So theoretically speaking, time is the foundation of what we are on. So we just use this measurement, like Tiffany was saying, this measurement as a way of saying, oh, we are this far along. It's like a football field and say like, oh, where are we? We don't know. Let's make a way. It was always there. We just didn't have a way to measure it.
Mm-hmm.
And space time gets weird. That would be another show because that's
Kind of what
that's too crazy.
What I was trying to say is like I feel like time has always been there. We've just we didn't measure it. We haven't always measured it the same. And I feel like if we go back about 2,000 years ago, we didn't measure it the same way we do now. And
Right.
2,000 years from now, we're not going to measure it the same time as we do today.
Right. Yeah.
Is kind of how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You're 2,000 years from now.
Or just
See,
time
you guys,
is
we're
weird.
going deep.
This one's deep. Like in video games, days are shorter, so the player can play more. You know what I mean? Because like GTA
Like
days aren't one day, right? So is this just a sped up day? What we think is normal, right? Is
This span of day is simpler than how long and dragged out the days of this this greater being that's playing us.
Mhm.
if there is a greater being playing us, what if it's just
There is.
us?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Then this is gonna get deeper. If there is a greater being, do you think? Let's say the greater being is the player. The greater being, or the Almighty Master who created everything, or Allah, whoever everyone else is. If they
God,
even have one,
Holy Spirit.
Big Bang, Big Bang. Is this just a player? Is that a player in another game? So if they're like what? So
But and the thing is, when I think of all right, so I know in Sunday school and stuff, you learn about God knows what you're gonna do, and He already knew before you were born what you're gonna do, how you're gonna die, and everything. And He already knew that you were gonna if you were gonna become a Christian or not. So, am I just a puppet? I've always thought, am I just a puppet and that is just being played by God and Satan, and I'm not actually choosing what I'm doing? It's them.
God's an AI.
But
AIs
that
can make
thought was
this.
in my head.
My thing is, if God is so perfect, then we know that AI has gotten to the point where you know how like we're humans, we're not perfect. So if we go and create an AI, is that AI gonna be perfect? But we know that AI can make themselves perfect. We know that there's a way for them to be greater than us. So what if that's the situation? What if like some AI was created, let's say 1,000 times in the future? Like what if it's like way past us? Like let's say
Right.
like 20,000 years before us, somebody made this like AI, and then put it in a time machine and sent it backwards. And this is what we have now. Like what if that's the
Yeah,
situation?
because having all the decisions made is basically what AI is. It's a complicated step of decisions that's pre-made, and you can't really change it because it knows the change that would be. You know what I mean? It's all you think you're changing it, but it's not because it's already in the end. We all know what's going to happen. So, uh, are we just an AI with a
I
consciousness?
feel very scared about talking about this because what if we get it right
But-
and then our creator or like whoever is controlling
yeah,
us,
lightning strike. Oh, have you seen that video? Oh my god, it scared me.
where somebody got
Dude, I
struck
was
by
scared
lightning
for
twice?
5 years.
Wow.
Yes, dude. I was little, man. It was I think it was edited. I don't know. I think it was edited. I'm pretty sure. Um, it was a church and lightning strike. People disappear, and it's just a couple people left crying. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's the calling where that's the afterlife. And those people apparently didn't believe in their religion. Um, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I believe in my religion, but I just feel like, oh my
And
gosh, what happens if I don't believe in my like? It's not one of those I don't believe in my religion. It's one of those. Am I
what
doing it enough? Is there a limit? I don't
Yeah.
know.
like
I've just always been scared. I'm
I've
like,
always thought because I'm going to just proclaim I am a Christian, and I've always
right.
thought, what if what I'm doing is you think of the Old Testament, and there's a bunch of rules and regulations that you have to follow. If you're gonna go by the Old Testament, there's a bunch of rules and regulations, and then the New Testament is show love and share the word. Is pretty much how I interpret it. Again,
Yeah. I feel you.
don't hold
Yeah,
that
snowflakes.
don't hold it against me. But Like, what if I'm not loving someone else enough? Like showing, like, I wouldn't say, when I'm saying love, I don't mean like romantic love. I mean like friendship.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Like,
showing enough love for them.
There's a lot of like, I would say like watery space like within things because like we don't have God here to like answer all our questions. Like I guess you could pray, but like that's I feel like he leaves things blank for a reason and like leaves it up to you. And again, that kind of just goes back to the game theory. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of question marks that I have, and for me, it's like when I think of like being religious and stuff like that. I consider myself a Christian, but when I think about it, I'm like, am I doing enough? Because I'm doing enough to my standards, but my standards aren't God's standards. But it says it like he's forgiving and everything like that, and I'm like, that's great that you're forgiving, but I need to know what I need to do.
By doing it right.
Like exactly, like if I'm doing like a piece of classwork or like some homework or something like that, I want the teacher to be as specific as possible so that I can do things to their liking and also like to their standards because I want to get 100.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, we're gonna curve it and you're gonna get 100 either way. I just want to know, am I doing the test right?
Yeah.
So throughout public school, as I don't find our school as a lot like public school, so I'll say our school and then public school usually. But when I think of back when I was in like elementary and middle school and how ELA teachers went about, I felt like, because I remember I would do tests in their class and I get to do the test wrong. So I've gotten to the point throughout elementary school, middle school that I had to learn how the teacher thought, and that is how I answer the questions. You answer the questions the way the teacher wanted you to do things. And I literally have grown up like that. I've went through every ELA class I've ever had doing that. And to come to the early college, our teacher is not like that anymore. She teaches us the way the colleges do class. And now I'm at this point, like when I'm given an assignment and it's not very specific, I'm like, how do I do this? I don't know.
How do I do it?
Because we're not, you don't teach class based off of how you think. You teach class on what we think. And I feel scared and uncomfortable, but I know that I'm supposed to do things the way I think they should be done. But every time I do something the way I think it should be done, I'm scared that I'm doing it wrong because of how
doing it wrong. Yeah, and that all relates back to religion. And I was watching Minefield by Michael Stevens, or also known as Vsauce. So I was watching it, and it was about the placebos, right? Placebo being you take a fake pill and it works. And I was watching it, and it works. Like a kid had ADHD, he took a fake pill, and it worked. And it's like, wow, is religion just a human placebo that we've created to get over, to explain the things we can't explain, explain the things that we think are good, to make up for the things that are bad.
Mr. Stark, or one of our teachers.
No, that's fine. No, Mr. Stark.
One of our teachers.
They don't know who Mr. Stark is. They'll think Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark told me.
Don't quote me on this, but Tony Stark once said, don't quote me on this, but Tony Stark once said that religion was created, like he said this like out of a textbook, one of our textbooks that we use at our school, that religion was created to make up for what we lacked, for the knowledge that we lacked. Something that I have a lot of problems with and a lot of doubt about, like when going to church and stuff like that. I'm like, well, why would God hurt people if, like, think of all the people that sinned, right? He released like bugs and like frogs and stuff like that once because somebody did something wrong, or like a group of people were like not acting right or something. I don't know. Somewhere in the Bible, like, you know what I'm talking about.
The Ark.
Exodus.
The plague, yeah. So he released a plague. Well, people that followed him got that anyway. So my thing is like, what? Like, if he's so great and powerful, then like, why can't he specifically target certain people? Like, why is it? That's not fair to everyone, you know? And it's just like the teacher, when it's like people are listening to music and maybe like the teacher's getting mad because some people are listening without headphones or they're blasting it or something like that, you know?
So they take it away from everyone.
So they take away from everyone. And I'm like, that gets people so mad, so I can understand the frustration.
Group punishment, yeah.
Yeah, but if that happened to me and I got the plague and like God did that, but he did it to people like say I was a Christian during the time and I, begged for mercy and I was like, I was like a person of God.
So you think about this king who has this disaster going on. If the people he was already harming weren't being affected either, wouldn't he treat those people even worse? If you think about it, like, so think of when kids don't think back when in elementary school when a student got in trouble, the teacher would sometimes punish the whole class, because then the whole class watches each other's backs, so that way no one gets in trouble again or does the same thing again. But sometimes that doesn't work either. I'm not saying that's way.
Right, it always works. Right.
In some situations it works, other situations it doesn't. It depends on how everything comes across. But like,
I think for a lot of people that like one thing that's like hard when you're like trying like to become religious, or like you're religious but you have doubts, is like if you really like science and that's something you're really into, a lot of science contradicts things against like Christianity and stuff like that. Like that to me is the hardest part.
Oh, another thing I think about when I think of that, there's also, when you come up to these scientists, there's some scientists that are called creationists, and there's some scientists that are called atheists. I'm not sure what the technical term for that is, but atheists. And then you got all these other types of scientists. And so when you look at science, there's different parts that go with. There's different theories that go along with creationists, and there's some theories that go with the other scientists.
And then adding on to that, Tiffany, I think you come into some people, like if you worked for a lab, or like you are the lab owner and you're about to hire scientists, if you're a Christian or if you're religious and you're a scientist, sometimes they will not hire you because they don't want your religion interfering with what you're doing or what you believe, because they want you to just believe the facts. And I'm like,
that's not fair.
I'm in the science field.
Human rights, that goes against our human rights.
Right.
Or at least
I'm in the science field.
Rights.
I was gonna say, yeah, it does, go against human rights for sure. I am in the science field more. And this is gonna be great. I've grown up in a Christian household, right? And with me growing, my brother didn't do anything that opposed anything against the word. So with me growing into the science field, it was my parents were worried, or my family, I should say, was just worried about me being a non-believer, right? Like, oh, he's gonna learn about the Big Bang and he's gonna believe that because of facts. I'm a very factual person. I like, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. It's just a fact.
Something
go ahead.
Something I also think about is, so my dad talks to me a lot about, because he told me when he was a young adult, so like around his 20s, that there were these articles that came out. And there were some articles that were talking about a fossil that was made in a decade. And we've been told it takes millions of years to fossils. Well, you can't find that article anymore. Like, if you want to go online or try to find it, it's been deleted or taken off to where the public eye can't see it. And that also makes me think, are some of these facts with like the Big Bang, are they
Are
they actually correct? Like when
yeah. So
I'm not saying
yeah, you don't want to say if either side's
you
correct.
never know if anything's actually true or not. Like with evolution, it's still called a theory. It's not said
Right.
as a fact yet. Like there's ideas that go along with evolution theory that are made as facts, like adaptation and stuff. But the theory, the whole entire idea of evolution and stuff itself is still under theory. And that's
Right.
kind of how I think about it when I learn about it in
My old
school.
friend, he told me this. He said, we were having this discussion, some similar like this, and he said, I said, do you believe in the Big Bang or like another higher power? And he was like, I believe God created the Big Bang. And I was like,
Yes,
well, I never
that
put those together.
some people say that the Bible, like Christianity and like the Bible, do not say that the Big Bang isn't true, and
Right.
that it's still possible for the Big Bang. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like,
In
it's
the
still
first
possible.
verse, the
It
first
also-
verse is just. And
There was
what
day
the first
and-
verse?
There was light.
Yeah, no, the
God
first
created the
yeah,
heavens
first
and the
verse
earth.
God
That was it.
created- Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then
And
the
That's
next
very
day,
broad.
If time's always been there, but human has found new ways to measure it, and that and how 10,000 years is like 10 days, it makes you think. Well, they said the Big Bang happened like that. What if
Mhm.
the conception, like our 10 days,
Was there
it
longer?
can be stretched out, or it can be compressed.
Right.
And that's kind of what I think about. Though I'm not gonna say any like not just. I'm trying to. When I think about that, I think on both sides. I'm like, there's
Yeah, both. Yeah.
I've always thought, even with like when you think of getting pulling a little bit of politics here, I feel like everyone has always said you're either left or right. What if you were in the middle and you to think look with your right eye, look with your left? What if you were looking with both?
Right.
Politics?
Yeah,
What
I'm conservative on some things and liberal on
We're not
others.
talking about the game theory anymore.
Well, it kind of all ties in. It ties in.
we've
Yeah.
talked about this for a while. This is long, man.
Yeah, because it's a deep rabbit hole.
It's a
It is deep.
It's not a
And
short conversation. Let me tell you, there's a lot to be discussed within.
Yeah, this is not like game theory. What about it? That's it. All right, goodbye. But I didn't like biology because I didn't understand it.
mhm.
Right? I didn't understand how plants reproduced because it didn't make sense. Because I was like, "What do you mean? How does it do its thing? Like, yeah, like how does it do its thing? It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. I don't know how it does."
I've always understood biology always seemed a lot simpler to me. Like you look at the digestive
Really?
system. Okay, that cookie the cookie I just ate, I chewed on it, I swallowed it, it went through my stomach, it went to this intestine and that intestine, and it's
Right. But all I'm saying is like
Yeah.
the energy. Like, how did you get that energy from A to B? And I never understood that. And I was like, you know what? F biology. Screw it. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm never gonna learn it. I don't care about it.
personally
I don't
really
care how
like-
frogs reproduce.
It's not that I
Kinda.
care about like how frogs reproduce, but like for me, it's like I like biology because I can see how this affects this. I can see how plants are both female and male, and
That was
using
weird to
those
think
two
about when I
different
learned that.
parts, using those two different parts, they make this because of this and this. For me, it was so easy to grasp because it was just facts. It was like, unlike some other theories and this whole like, some other stuff.
I'll say this. The only reason, like, I understand the female body, not the body, the body of the plant. You know what I mean? I understand
Okay.
that. Like, I know. All right, that makes sense. You put the two plants together and they do their thing. But it was just not the molecular, the cells. The cells I don't understand because I understand atoms. I understand atoms, how you break them.
It's true.
She just left. And that's why I became more of a mechanical engineer because I could see the things move.
Mhm.
And now I'm an aerospace engineer.
And when it came to chemistry in 8th grade, I got an easy 100 on that. Like everyone else was saying it was so hard. It was like, but the thing is,
Chemistry, don't even get me
They're-
started.
there's only a certain amount of neutrons in that, and just taking away one neutron changes your atom. And I
Right.
did that quite easily. Like you have all these protons. You put in neutrons and protons together, and you take away one proton and add another neutron. You're getting a completely
Yeah,
different.
you're getting. Yeah, this is
You're
different
just
stuff.
electrons.
Technically, there are atoms in between anything, so you're never actually touching anything. But then again, you're touching everything all at once because the atoms are touching you and touching everything else. I use that so many times when I was like, "Don't touch the food," and I'm like, "What do you mean?
I'm not touching it. Friggin'
Am I
sodium
actually
fluoride.
chewing it? And this when you break a cookie or you rip the paper, am I actually ripping it, or is the atoms ripping the
Oh,
paper?
the atoms, man. They're all just rapidly
Exactly.
doing the thing.
Was it me that ripped the paper or the atoms?
The atoms, man? I'm telling you. And then okay, here's
can
and then
never
I came
trust
back
them.
into biology when Elon proposed Mars, and I was like, dude, that's a great idea. And I was like, oh wait, I know nothing about like my own planet because I didn't care. Now I need to learn all of this, like how the atmosphere. We're learning that, but I need to learn how atmosphere works because I need to know that for rockets. Rockets need to go up, and
All
if
right,
I
this
build a rock, it don't work.
All right, I'm going to say this safely that all three of us are at the same school. So
Safely, yeah. I
What do
will.
you mean?
All
He
great.
started my
Yeah.
teacher.
What do you mean?
That
I'm in Russia. We talked about.
I go to school. I go to school with Tom Holland. Excuse me. Bonjour. It's Italy.
and, yeah, I live on an island off of the coast. I think it's nearby England. I'm not sure. I've never really tried to look at the map.
I'm on the moon.
I'm on Mars already, lamos.
Whoa.
Okay, my only thing is I really wish we could move to Mars, but I do not think it's going to be possible during our lifetime.
Hold on, let's keep that for the next show.
All right.